Once again, we are layered 3 inches of overlap on the ice and water shield. The felt has to overlap the ice and water shield. Why? Yes. Yep. So felt is waterproof up to 30 days. You could put felt on a house because this is an asphalt product. It's basically just construction paper that asphalt is kind of pressed into. This is waterproof out to 30 days. So if there is a situation where water does work its way through the shingles, you hope that it hits your felt, runs off your felt, and finds your ice and water shield underneath. But in order for that to happen, rule of thumb with a roof, there can never be any seams pointing up the slope, ever. There can never be a seam pointing up the slope. Any impediment that points up the slope is a potential for a leak, because that area, over time, if you had a seam facing this way, yeah, water's going to run over it for a long period of time, but eventually it's going to find its way under. And once it finds its way under, then all hell breaks loose. So solid sheath is the requirement. You guys know what the deck requirements are. What's the next thing that goes onto this roof? Nope. Starter strip. It goes around the entire perimeter. Starter strip goes around the entire perimeter of the house.
So if it ain't got that, what's happening?
What do you notice about starter strip?
It's got tar strip on it.
Why?
Extra.
Yeah, so the first layer of shingles that you put on a roof doesn't have anything to adhere to, because if you put it on and it's just sitting over top of felt, felt's not a very good surface to adhere to. So you put starter strip on, it's got a built-in seal strip so that your first course of shingles has something to seal to. And it's even more important on the rakes, because, I mean, you guys have been on roofs before doing inspections, and you get up there doing an inspection and the rake shingles are just loose as fuck. And here on the edges, it gives this course of shingles something to seal to along the edge. That's why if you climb up on a ladder and you're on the rake, sometimes people will say, well, that's 2-layer. And I'm like, that's not 2-layer. You're seeing the starter strip. There are 2 acceptable, well, I was just going to say that. There are 2 acceptable forms of starter strip. This is actual starter strip. You buy it, it comes in a, I don't know, 24-inch sheet with a perforated center, and the guys break it like this and install it. I'm stapling everything here. They would nail this down, more than likely, and they would nail down the drip edge as well. I'm just stapling it so it's easier for me to get it the off of here. Or you can use 3-tab shingles. You can use 3-tab shingles for starter strip. A lot of crews will do it. Some crews will use, if we have leftover shingles, they'll ask me to do it this way. That way they don't have to have a bundle of starter up there, bundles of shingles. They say, hey, just let us use shingles for starter. And you're perfectly fine. You're perfectly within code to do that. What you will do is you would take a shingle, and sometimes I order them this way. It just depends if the supplier has starter or not. But all we're trying to do with starter strip is give ourselves something for the asphalt to seal to. So if they're going to use shingles as starter strip, they just flip the shingle over like this. Put on the drip edge. We put on the ice and water shield. We put on the felt. We put on the starter. If we were going to put components on this, whether it be a furnace stack or whatever it is, it would be cut out of the felt. And then you can't just cut it out, feed your felt over it, and then just put a boot on it and shingle over top of it. It has to function just like the rest of the roof, which means it has to be water shedding from top to bottom. So you will see the guys working upwards with their shingles, which I'm going to show you here in a second. And then when they get to a pipe boot, they will get directly almost to the pipe, and then they will put the boot on. So that way the bottom edge of your pipe boot overlaps that layer of shingles that's underneath.